TGIF. From the KUOW newsroom, this is Seattle Now. I'm Paige Browning. Here are our top stories of the day. It's Friday, July 25th. Starting with some news our Oregon neighbors are making on immigration. Oregon Senator Ron Wyden is introducing a measure that would require immigration officers to clearly identify themselves when making arrests. Many congressional Democrats from the Northwest have been critical of the growing practice of ICE agents wearing masks. Oregon Public Broadcasting's Lauren Dake reports.
The Democratic senator is joining other liberal lawmakers from across the country in a push to prevent law enforcement agents from wearing face coverings while taking people into custody. Wyden's proposal would also require federal officials to clearly display their identification, including the name of their agency and their name or badge number. The push comes as the Trump administration's deportation efforts ramp up. Immigration officials recently arrested an Oregon man who was dropping off his child at a Montessori school earlier this month. Many of the men making that arrest wore face coverings. A spokesman for the U.S. Department of Homeland Security said agents wear face masks to protect themselves. She said there has been a spike in assaults against officers. I'm Lauren Dake reporting.
A local policing note, the names of 4 Seattle police officers who attended the January 6, 2021 Stop the Steal rally are now out to the public. The officers fought for years to keep their identities confidential after someone filed a public records request for their identities in 2021. The officers are Sergeant Jacob Brisky, Sergeant Scotty Bach, Detective Michael Settle, and Officer Jason Marchioni. The SPD found they did not violate laws when they attended the rally. 2 other officers, a married couple, were previously fired for trespassing at the Capitol. In news on your electricity bill, the so-called One Big Beautiful Bill that Congress passed recently will drive energy bills higher. That's the message Washington state leaders made in Seattle today. Joshua McNichols has this story.
Washington State Commerce Director Joe Nguyen stands in the middle of the Denny substation in Seattle's South Lake Union neighborhood. Beyond the electric substation walls, skyscrapers tower overhead. None of those towers were there 20 years ago.
So this substation was built with this growth in mind. So if you plan for 10, 20, 30, 40 years, and then all of a sudden the federal government doesn't come through with their end of the bargain, it puts all of that stuff at risk.
Seattle City Light says it must add capacity, but without federal investment, development costs will probably be passed to consumers. The U.S. Department of Energy did not respond to a request for comment. Joshua McNichols, KUOW News.
A bit of news that'll have some tails wagging today. Dogs will soon be allowed to ride the Link Light Rail, Sounder commuter trains, and Sound Transit Express buses. Sound Transit's board voted unanimously Thursday to create dog policies. Dogs will be required to be on leashes, and they'll ride for free. Right now, only service dogs are allowed on light rail. In a different transit note, if you've ever traveled at SeaTac Airport, you know it's a trek to get from the light rail station to the airport itself. So, SeaTac is trying a new solution, a driverless shuttle. The airport is testing a light rail to terminal shuttle for 90 days. Passengers will be able to book rides at kiosks near the light rail station or through the airport's app. In education news, Washington state education officials are working out how to navigate a new Trump administration decision that calls for restricting Head Start programs from serving undocumented immigrants. KNKX's Mitch Borden reports they're still hoping to enroll eligible students.
Joel Ryan is with the nonprofit Washington State Association of Head Start and ECAP, which advocates for federal and state-funded education programs that serve low-income families. He calls the new restrictions cruel. He says a drop in enrollment among immigrant families could result in Head Start programs losing funding, affecting all students.
You also are likely to see non-immigrant families hurt as well because that program won't have the resources it needs to pay a teacher and to make sure a classroom can stay open.
The Washington State Association of Head Start, as well as the state of Washington, have filed lawsuits to block the Trump administration's new restrictions. I'm Mitch Borden, reporting.
But Washington state does stand to get back some education funding it was concerned about. The Trump administration announced today it will release billions of dollars in education funding to states it froze July 1st. Washington stood to lose $137 million for schools. The grants involved are meant for teacher training and for disadvantaged students, including those from immigrant and migrant farm worker families. In Seattle, school board member Liza Rankin said the funding went to about 18 key staff positions, including family support workers and staff who help students at risk of dropping out. Washington State Superintendent of Public Instruction, Chris Rakedahl, said the funding thaw is a relief.
I've talked to a lot of my colleagues, and this particular thing wasn't partisan at all. So it's good news.
But Rakedahl said the funding is threatened long-term because it may be cut from next year's federal budget. The Trump administration has said it needed to review how states were spending the grants, including on students without legal immigration status. Lawmakers on both sides of the aisle protested the freeze as putting a strain on schools and forcing layoffs. In a letter to states today, the Department of Education said it concluded its review and the funds will be released next week. Some wildfire news today. A week-old fire burning near the Columbia River Gorge has become the state's largest. The Burdoyne fire has grown to over 11,000 acres, and a go-now evacuation order is still in place. It has destroyed 44 structures and threatens 1,400 more. And in sports, happy Ichiro weekend. Seattle Mariners great Ichiro Suzuki will be inducted into the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame on Sunday. He owns the Major League Baseball single-season hit record with 262 and won 10 Gold Gloves. He also had a cannon for an arm.
Ground ball, base hit into right field. Heading for third is Terrence Long. The throw by Ichiro. Beautiful. Peggy, get him. Holy smoke, a laser beam strike from Ichiro.
Ichiro will become the first Japanese baseball player in the MLB Hall of Fame. His jersey number will also be retired by the Mariners on August 9th. And good luck to you if you're driving anywhere this weekend. In Seattle, I-5 northbound remains down to 2 lanes over the Ship Canal Bridge for preservation and repair work. In Kent, State Route 167 southbound will close tonight from State Route 516 to South 277th Street. Next week on Seattle Now, King County's hitting pause on a youth felony diversion program meant to address the root causes of the youth's problems.
And then the goal is kind of to look at the big picture of this youth's life. They can even offer help to, when they kind of get to know them and say, okay, what's going on with you? What's going on with your family? They can offer things like eviction assistance if it turns out that there's housing instability in the person's family.
Hear that Monday. That's all for today from the KUOW newsroom in Seattle. Our producer is Vaughn Jones, and I'm Paige Browning. Seattle Now and KUOW are members of the NPR network. Have a great weekend.